Pistons build some very solid momentum heading into the All-Star week, getting their last 2 wins before heading into the All-Star break. And again, continuing to build their lead atop of the Eastern Conference, getting big wins against Charlotte and Toronto. Although the Charlotte one will end up with the losses of Durant and Beef Stew after some shenanigans that happened, which is where we're going to go right into. As that was a very tight contest in the game. Of course, the big thing to come out of that game was in midway through the third quarter. Moses Diaby would foul Jalen Duren, and Jalen would take exception to it. As it seems like Diaby just fouled him on purpose. Because everyone is now getting frustrated with how the Pistons play, since the Pistons have brought back a little bit of that mix of the bad boys going to work here, as it all rolled into one. And everyone's taking exception to it because the Pistons are no longer the punching bag of the league again. And Duren took exception to that, and all hell broke loose in all-out brawl. That included Miles Bridges and Isaiah Stewart coming off the bench. Actually, both teams had players come off the bench. It was a bench-clearing brawl. And well, with that, and also with that image, it's like, well, time to add another picture of a brawl that's happening within the last calendar year with Detroit sports. That's crazy. We've had 3 big all-out brawls in Detroit sports this year with all 3 different teams. We had the Lions and Chiefs had an all-out brawl at the end of the Sunday night game earlier this year. We also had the all-out brawl at the end of the game between the Rangers and the Red Wings earlier this year. And now add the Pistons in it for that shit for the brawl with Charlotte. And also the Pistons went on to win the game 110-104 with Cade Cunningham dropping 33 points as Cade stepped up to the plate after Duren and Beef Stew got ejected. So yeah, out of the 3 teams that have brawled this year, the only one missing is the Tigers. So yeah, 3 Detroit teams have started a brawl. Only 1 remains. You're next, Tigers. Don't disappoint. All I say is if you're going to start a brawl with anybody, do it against Cleveland. Do it against Cleveland so the fucking Cleveland fans have something to fucking cry about for once. But yeah, and also during all this, the Pistons did finally extend Danish Jenkins, as actually it was reported last week that Jenkins hit his 50-game limit per his contract. As the Pistons decide, oh no, we cannot have him hit 50-game limit. He must play more. So the Pistons extended his contract, rightfully just so. Danish Jenkins has been balling this year, especially off the bench, so well deserved by him. And in terms of Duren and Beef Stew, well, both of them had their chance, had their spins on the NBA wheel of discipline. Jalen Duren will get a 2-game suspension for his actions in that brawl in Charlotte. And for Beef Stew, well, since Beef Stew is a repeat offender and came off the bench, he will be getting a 7-game suspension. And all I say is, well, honestly, it's kind of worth it, as Beef Stew was just standing up for his teammates and standing up for Duren. I mean, for everyone to cry about it, all I have to say is, what do you want Beef Stew to do in that situation? Just do nothing and let Duren just get run over? I mean, yeah, Beef Stew could have fucking done that, but you know that's not how the Pistons operate. That's not how Beef Stew has done things. Especially considering that this isn't even the first time he's done this. It's like you need somebody to stick up for your team and for your teammates. All I say in terms of these NBA fights is I kind of wish it was just like hockey, where they just let them fucking fight it out. Like all I say is, if they want to fight so bad, just let them. Just let them do it and let them get it out of their system. Instead of fucking trying to babying the fucking players in these situations. Like, god damn, the NBA sometimes treats the players like fucking babies. Fucking ridiculous. Like, I'll say this, if they actually allowed fighting in basketball like hockey, it would probably make basketball a lot more popular and a lot more watchable. Just gonna throw that out there. Like, honestly, all sports should be allowed to have fighting. Like, if people want to fight and go at it, let them. Let them until either A, somebody goes to the ground, or B, the fight turns into a stalemate, then intervene. But yeah, anyway, though, and then the Pistons had one last game, which was against the Raptors. And even with no Jalen Duren and Beef Stew, Toronto and the Ace Taker are still getting the fucking belt. as the Pistons dominate the Raptors with Cade Cunningham dropping another 27 points, as Cade is getting warmed up for his All-Star game. And the Pistons get the win. Now the Pistons will head into the All-Star break 40-13. Only one of two teams with 13 losses, the other being Oklahoma City, the reigning champs. But yeah, Pistons continue to build their momentum at the top of the Eastern Conference. And of course, if I know that I don't think that suspension will affect Jalen Duren's All-Star eligibility. So yeah, the All-Star game's different this year. It's the round-robin Team USA teams and then a world team. In other words, NBA tried to copy the NHL Four Nations face-off from last year and did it very poorly. Like I always say, the NBA be better off getting rid of the All-Star game and just do something similar to the Four Nations face-off the NHL did last year. Well, NHL probably would have done it this year if it wasn't an Olympic year. But yeah. I mean, if we did an NBA Four Nations face-off, I imagine two of those nations would easily be USA and Canada. And then the other two is anybody's guess. It'll have to be probably France and maybe another European country in there, maybe Germany. I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. I think the last two would definitely be European countries, that's for sure. Or maybe they throw Mexico in there, I don't know. But for Four Nations, definitely USA-Canada. I mean, a USA-Canada basketball matchup would sell and get ratings and everything all together. I mean, we all know how then again, USA Canada's mainly more popular in hockey, but it could probably have that much kind of power like basketball, football, or hell, even baseball. But yeah, anyway, Pistons continue to roll. Now the Pistons get a week off to rest up, and also losing Beef Stew is a pretty big loss for the next 6 games following the All-Star break. Since the next 9 games the first 9 games following the All-Star break is going to be the Pistons' hardest stretch of the season. Because, I mean, in that 9-game span, there's going to be a meeting with the Knicks. There's going to be 2 meetings against Cleveland. 2 meetings with San Antonio. At least with Duren, we'll have Duren back in time for the San Antonio matchup. And even a date with Orlando and a date with Oklahoma City in that mix. So yeah, it's going to be a very hard 9-game stretch. I mean, the only real bright spot in that 9-game stretch is another matchup against Toilet. But outside that, it's good. The stretch with their Pistons coming out of that All-Star break, it's going to be the hardest stretch of the season. I mean, that stretch alone is going to determine if the Pistons truly are for real or not. Especially when they got to face Oklahoma City and San Antonio, the 2 best teams in the East, in the Western Conference. And 2 of the teams that you're most likely going to have to face and the matchups against Oklahoma City and San Antonio, those could potentially be NBA Finals previews. Since if the Pistons make it to that far to the finals, they're most likely either playing Oklahoma City or San Antonio in there. Because I think that West Finals is going to come down to San Antonio and Oklahoma City. And I think that one's going to 7, however you slice it or dice it. I think a San Antonio, Oklahoma West Finals will go to 7 games. But yeah, this next little bit's going to be telling. Also, it's pretty crazy how at the All-Star break, the Pistons nearly won as many games this year as they did all of last year. I believe they need like 4 more wins to tie their win total from last year. But yeah, also the Pistons, they're definitely going to be, if the Pistons do well in that 9-game stretch, they could potentially have a playoff spot locked up by then. But anyway, that wraps it up here. So, no Detroit sports recap for about another week, as this one's a midweek recap with just the Pistons playing right now since Wings are still on Olympic break. And the Pistons are off for a week because of the All-Star break. But anyway, that wraps it up here. I'll see you all later. And as always, Detroit basketball.